Hello there guys, and welcome back to another epic Inexorable video. In this video we're taking a little cheeky look at solving simultaneous equations, linear simultaneous equations, by the way. I didn't write that in the title, but linear simultaneous equations by elimination. Okay, so we're eliminating. What does that mean? What is elimination? Okay, let's talk about it. Right, elimination. Now guys, you at this point should be able to make different things the subject. You should be able to solve algebraic equations with one unknown, right? So like, I don't know, something like 5 minus x equals 2x, right? Like, you should be able to solve that without much of a difficulty, okay? What we want is to turn a simultaneous equation that's got a y and an x into it into an equation that has just got either a y or an x in it, solve for that, and then find out what, either one you want, whichever one's easier, the x or the y, find out what that is, and then plug it back into either one of your simultaneous equations, either the top one or the bottom one, and figure out and then solve for the other variable. So if you try and make it so you've just got it in terms of y, you can then find out what y is by simply solving it for y. That's very easy, you should be able to do that. And then when you find out that y value, put it where y is, and then you will just have x's, and you can just do it that way. Or as I say, vice versa. Figure out what x is, and then plug it in, and then figure out what y is. That is what elimination and substitution are supposed to do. You're just doing them in different ways. So what is elimination? Elimination is where you take or add one of the equations away from the other one, okay? So in order to do that, you need to have one thing. Either you must have the same number of x's, the same number of y's, or the same constant at the end, right? 6 does not equal 22. Minus y does not equal 3y. And 2x does not equal 4x. So whichever one's easier, you need to multiply the entire equation by some number, which is fine. You can multiply an equation by whatever you want, as long as you do the same thing to the left and the right, to change it. So I'm going to label the equations. It's always good to label the equations, guys. The first one, I'm going to label it equation 1. The second one, I'm going to label it equation 2, okay? And I'm going to draw a box around it. I don't want you guys to think the 1 and the 2 are like part of the equation. That's just calling the top one number 1 and the bottom one number 2. Helps you in the exam, helps the examiner know what you're talking about. So that's what it's for. So I'm going to double everything in equation 1, okay? So equation 1, I'm going to write that as 4x minus 2y equals 12. Now guys, that's fine. You can do it because I multiplied everything by 2. Why did I choose 2? Because, guys, now I've got a 4x here and a 4x here. So I've got some, either the x, the y, or the constant. They're the same in both equations. That's what we're looking for. That's how we're going to use the elimination, okay? So this is equation 1. This is also equation 1. This is just everything's twice as big. But it's fine, because if everything's twice as big, it hasn't changed. It's still equal, because you did the same thing to the left and the right side, okay? So now I'm going to rewrite equation 2. And I'm just going to rewrite it. I'm not going to change it at all. That's equation 2, right? Good. Okay, so now I'm going to do something really wacky. I'm going to take one of the equations away from the other one, okay? So you can do it in either order, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you might want to add them together. The whole idea is to eliminate either the x or the y. So let me just sort of show you. I'm going to do equation 2 minus equation 1, but you could do it the other way around. And I'm going to say that is, well, literally just looking at it, this is going to be 4x plus 3y equals 22 minus 4x minus 2y equals 12, okay? Sort of written in a weird way, but look, just take everything away. So this is, what is 4x minus 4x? it's just 0, right? So that's going to be 0x, or 0. Now, we have to be careful here. 3y minus 2y, positive 5y, okay? Because it's a double negative. It's 3y, take away negative 2y. So be careful with these brackets if you like to write it out like how I do. If you don't write it out like how I do, that's totally fine. You can write it in a different way. I just sort of like to do this. And then we're going to do 22 take away 12. What is 22 take away 12? It's nothing other than 10. Yeah, 22 minus 12. Which means, guys, we now have 5y equals 10. Now you guys tell me, is that easier than this or harder? It's way easier, isn't it? Because there's just one thing in there. It's just a y, which is beautiful because we can really easily solve this for y. So let's just do it. Y equals, we don't want 5y, we want 1y. So let's divide both sides by 5. So 5y divided by 5, that's y. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And you don't even need to be that pedantic about it. You can just tell 5 times what equals 10. Well, it's 2. So y is 2, okay? Now, guys, that was the hard part. That was the difficult part of this problem. Because now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to come over here, and I'm going to choose the equation. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Choose the one that's easier. I'm going to substitute 2 where y is in one of the equations. And I'm going to find out what x is. I reckon it will be easier to do the top one because it's just a y on its own, it's not a 3y. So I'm going to choose the top one. You could choose the bottom one. Choose the bottom one and see if you get the same answer as me if you'd like to, because you will. So let's just do this. 2x minus y, yeah? So this is equation 1 still. 2x minus y. We just figured out what y is, guys. Y is 2. So 2x minus 2 equals 6. Again, simple. Let's add 2 to both sides. 2x is equal to 8. And guys, 2 times what equals 8? 2 times 4 equals 8. So x is 4, yeah? Or you could divide both sides by 2 and you'd get x equals 4. Same thing. X is 4, y is 2, which means that they're the answers, which means if you substitute a 4 where you see an x and a 2 where you see a y, both of the equations will be true. Yes, 2 lots of 4 minus 2 is 6. Yes, 4 lots of 4 plus 6, yes, it's 22. So both equations are satisfied, and you'll only ever have one x value and one y value when these are linear. Nothing's being squared, nothing's being cubed, no powers like that, nothing's being square rooted. They're straight lines. Straight lines can only ever cross once, ever. You can't have two intersections, can you? They either cross at one point, or if they're parallel, they won't cross at all. There's no solutions. You will not get two crosses. So you've got one x value, one y value. Therefore, you would say your answer is simply, we'll say x equals 4 and y equals 2, okay? If the question said, where do these lines cross? What's the coordinates? You would say 4, 2, okay? 4 is the x coordinate, 2 is the y coordinate, and it's that simple. So the idea behind elimination is that you are going to make one of these equations have the same multiple of either your x, your y, or your constant. If I wanted to, I could multiply the top equation by 3, because then I'd have 6x minus 3y, and I've got a 3y there, is equal to 18, and I could add the equations together to get rid of y, because that would be a negative 3 and a positive 3. So if I added them, instead of taking them away, if I added them, the y's would disappear, and we would again just have an equation where you need to solve for x. And then you would substitute and you would find y, and it's that simple. So that's it, guys. That's elimination. That's the idea behind it. If you want to see me do more examples of elimination, please let me know. But we will probably see this one again when we move on. Okay, so it's not the last time you're going to see elimination. But the next video is going to be about substitution, which is my personal preference. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.